What's happening, gamers? A long time no see. I know, my bad, just haven't felt like I really had anything all that interesting to talk about for ballad songs for a little while. But I got some for you today, and I have a couple other things that I've acquired that I'm pretty interested in making a video on eventually. But this just came in, and I really felt like I had to talk about it because, boy, do I have a gripe with this thing. This is the Glidr Pacific, I think it was called, the new knife that they just released. And I mean, first of all, let's just say this thing is absolutely gorgeous. Their new blade design is really cool, and these handles are very reminiscent of something like the Seraph. Absolutely beautiful anodization, as I would expect from Glidr. Got kind of shallow speed channel here on the side, but it does provide some grip. The jimping here is nothing too crazy, but again, provides some grip, which is pretty nice. And of course, one of the main features is these weight screws on the ends. I'm using the lighter ones. This camera doesn't want to focus, but I'm using the lighter 1.5 gram ones as opposed to the 3 gram screws, just because after trying it a little bit, it felt a tiny bit sluggish going to the 3 gram ones, and these just feel a little better than no screws in. It just carries momentum pretty well while still feeling very responsive. However, what doesn't feel so great is the texture on these handles. It's kind of rough. It's not the absolute worst thing that I've ever felt, but it definitely doesn't feel great on the hands. When I picked it up, it was the first thing I noticed, and it's part of why I'm making this video right now, as opposed to waiting a little bit to get more in-depth thoughts on it. But yeah, it don't feel so good, which kind of a shame considering the knife itself looks really good, and from the bit that I've flipped it so far, even with any of the configurations, be it none of the weight screws, the lighter ones or the heavier ones, it feels like it flips pretty well. I mean, of course, it's still pretty early thoughts, but I have been enjoying my time with it in terms of actually just flipping it. It does what I want it to do, generally. Of course, nothing makes up for me not flipping very well in the first place, but such is life. But it sucks that as I'm flipping it, it actively like hurts my hands a little bit because it's just uncomfortable, which kind of unfortunate, all things considered. The unboxing experience was pretty much the same as the Arctic 2, which I recorded a video on a little while ago. It was the same kind of white case with extra hardware, their little 3D printed ballad song stand, and then a little card for a link to their page on maintenance and everything. So nothing too crazy. But you know, it's a pretty solid experience overall though. And the knife is good. It flips well, looks absolutely incredible. Don't really have any issues in terms of balance or anything. Carries momentum well. Has a pretty solid grip, which I would hope considering how aggressive this texture is. I mean, as I'm flipping it out, it's getting a little more used to it, so it's not quite as bad. But it's still... It doesn't make me happy to have my hands on it necessarily. But yeah, I guess I'll just flip for a little and talk about whatever. But yeah, I have expanded my collection a little bit, got a bunch of fun little interesting pieces that I would very much be looking forward to make videos on soon. Got some that are things that you've probably heard a million things about, but nonetheless I think would still be fun to talk about and give my thoughts on them. Got one or two that I think someone requested a little while ago in the comments on one of my videos, so be glad to finally give that guy some closure. Oh, hello. There's a beetle that just flew by. That's cool. But yeah, don't really have much else to talk about right now. Just really wanted to get it out that this knife is cool, but the texture's a little rough, and kind of makes it a little painful to flip, but such is life. Yeah, I can ladder decently well there, just to show the jimping does actually do something, even if it isn't the most aggressive thing ever. Yeah, I think that'll be it for this. Just again, short little video, just kind of rambling. But if there's one thing you gotta take away from it, good knife, rough texture. Got more stuff coming soon on some other stuff that I have more developed thoughts on, as opposed to just wanting to really quickly get something out for this. And yeah, don't worry, I haven't forgotten about you guys entirely. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Schmeep.